We all had an early vision of what our lives would look like, and then life actually happened. From marriage to motherhood, career dreams, and everything in between, this is Life Actually with Mary Belle. Dana Carretta-Stein is a trauma therapist, author, and consultant who somehow built 2 businesses from scratch while juggling motherhood, marriage, and the mental load of keeping everybody alive. She's the founder of Peaceful Living Mental Health Counseling and the EMDR Coach, 2 trauma-informed brands specializing in EMDR therapy and nervous system care. When she's not working, you'll find her with her husband, their 2- and 5-year-old tiny tornadoes, and their fur baby Jack. Growing up in a big Italian family, she loves cooking and gathering in the kitchen with the people she loves most. You already know my favorite line of that introduction is the last one, cooking and gathering in the kitchen with the people she loves most. But I'm so excited to learn more about yet another accomplished woman who finds a way to get it done while still raising a family. So welcome to Life Actually with Mary Belle and Dana Carretta-Stein.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're here. Yeah. As always, I say all the time, I feel like it's Life Actually with Mary Belle and then like a little side of No Snooze and Dave Regina.
Yeah.
Because it's why I'm here. But then I also have met so many of my guests through him. And that's how I saw you last time. Because you were on No Snooze not so long ago.
Right, it was back in April.
I absolutely loved your episode because it focused on exactly what I just said in your intro is owning businesses, working, and then having 2 children and being married on top of it.
It's real life.
It's real. It's life actually.
It's life actually. Actually, my son says all the time, actually.
My daughter says the same thing too. And I love it. So this is going to be a really great episode for the moms, the working moms especially, because I would love to get to know you from really, I love the Italian background. I want to start there, obviously, and then get into like how you got into this line of work and business ownership. But start from the early days of Dana.
Yeah, the early days of me. I mean, I'm one of 10 grandkids, so big Italian family. My mom had 2 brothers, so each of her brothers had 4 kids, and she had my sister and I. And my dad's previous marriage had a son. So there's a lot of us. There's just a lot of us, and we just grew up like pizza Fridays at grandma's house, Sunday gravy on Sundays at grandma's house, and we were always together. My cousins are like my siblings. I was like, when I was sitting outside, waiting before, I was talking to my cousin because today's her birthday. And
happy birthday, cousin.
Yeah, happy birthday, Janine, love you. But that's just, for me, family is everything. Mm-hmm. And, that's my priority always. That when it comes to work, when it comes to, everything else in life, that's secondary to family.
Okay. Are you New York or Connecticut?
New York.
You are.
Yeah,
okay.
New Yorker through and through. Born and raised in Yonkers.
In Yonkers, okay. My husband and his family, Ridgewood Avenue in Yonkers.
Oh, sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
See, that's crazy too, because the more people that I meet, it's just like the world is so small.
Yeah, for how big it is, it's very small.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah.
And I just love that. So the Italian American, that's me. So I have 2 romance books, and it is a Jersey girl who vacations in Italy, has a one-night stand with the Polizia from Rome.
Love that.
It's based loosely or inspired by, I should say, not based. Everybody likes to think like this was all happening, and that's what I wrote about.
Right.
But my husband and my parents and we went to Italy 10 years ago now in 2015, and I just fell in love with it. So I'm Italian-American, half New York, half New Jersey, and it's the same exact thing. Pizza Fridays.
Yep.
I make my pizza the same way my grandmother made pizza. Sunday dinners. And Jay, my husband, was the same way too, where we say now, like, we live up in Dutchess County.
Okay.
So we're far away. My parents are an hour and 45 minutes away, but they drive everywhere.
Right.
My mother-in-law is in Yonkers still, so she's an hour away.
Okay.
But like back in the old days, like when you were with your cousins, did everybody live close together?
My grandma was like the middle spot. Like, we were born and raised in the Bronx, really. Like, that's where my grandmother, my grandfather built the house that she lived in.
Okay.
And my cousins were in Long Island and we're in Yonkers. So my grandma was literally the middle point between all of us. Mm-hmm. So it just worked. That's where everybody kind of converged.
Yeah. And it's just like I bet your best memories growing up.
100%.
Right?
We had our cousins club, and like we used to put like little shows on. Like, it's kind of embarrassing saying it out loud.
It's so funny because my daughter is 5 and then my goddaughter is 8, and I have it's 4 of the girls, and every time they get together, it's, would everybody like tickets to our show?
Yep.
And I used to do the same thing. So I'm like, yeah, let's have tickets to the show. And then everybody else is like, another show. I'm like, could you just let them do their show?
Just let them do their thing, because that was us not that long ago.
Oh, my God. I used to do that all the time.
Yep, we did like New York with Frank Sinatra. We did like the whole Rockettes thing. We were all like learning how to do
Yes.
this. Like it was so fun.
It's just set the basis too, like you said. So you grew up that way, and then I'm sure with your 2 kids now, like, do they have cousins that they get to play with?
So my sister is my best friend in the entire world. Quite literally cannot function without her. And she has 3 boys.
Okay.
So I have my sister has 2 kids. My brother has 2 kids, and I have 2 kids.
Okay.
So actually, just this past weekend, it hasn't happened in forever. We had all the Carretta kids under one roof, and I'm very into my emotions. I cried. I was so happy. I was just like,
you just feel like a piece of your heart is full.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like my nephew came down from Rochester. My niece was over. My sister had all 3 of her kids. I had my 2. And it was just like, this is
I
how it
notice
should
so
be.
often, and my husband and I say this, like it could be the most random Sunday where like, and he's a big cook, Jay.
Yep.
So he could be making sauce or whatever, and he's like, you want to see what mommy and daddy are doing? And like most people are like, your parents are almost 2 hours away. They're going to come up for Sunday dinner. Yes, they will.
Love that.
Like they'd be pissed off if we didn't say something,
Right, right.
like you didn't.
Why didn't you tell us?
Like if my brother lives a half hour away, but if he ended up there and then we sent a picture, like they'd have FOMO. Like that's how our
Absolutely.
entire family is.
Oh, yeah. I usually will, like this past Sunday, I just texted everybody in the morning. I was like, getting the gravy on. It'll be ready probably around 5. See you suckers then. And everybody shows up. It's like a revolving door at my house. Everyone knows that they're welcome.
Yeah.
And I've really taken over like the role of my grandmother because my house is kind of the middle point for everybody. And everyone just comes to my house. I have I made 4 pounds of pasta, like 16,000 meatballs, sausage, pork bones. Let it cook since 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
And everyone just shows up and they eat,
You eat all day long. You just hang out. You chat. You talk about the same shit over and over and over.
over
again.
and over,
Right?
over and over. Like we should just talk about memories from when we were younger and just, or what's going on in everyone's lives and just laugh. That's like the best part is laughing.
It's just I love this. It's like when you find the people that basically grew up the same way that you did. It like just brings back so many memories.
100%.
And then now that we're raising our own kids, like Jay says this all the time. Like I just want her, Marina, our daughter, to like grow up like knowing how important it is to like share meals with like your favorite people and like just keep memories alive. You know, and like that's a big legacy thing too. So we're working on a cookbook.
All about legacy. Oh my God, I love that.
Yes, for that exact reason. You know, like where did these recipes come from? My grandmother, his grandmother, it just connects everybody.
I love that.
So you grew up in an Italian-American household.
Yeah.
Love it. You could tell just from talking to you how much love is in your heart for your family.
Yeah.
As like little Dana, though, like what did you want to be when you grew up?
So when I was in kindergarten, I remember standing up on the stage and, hi, I'm Dana Carretta and I want to be a nurse.
Oh, you
so
have a great personality for that.
That was what I used to want to be. And then when I was in my grammar school, whatever, I think my 8th grade yearbook says I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
Which was just talking with my cousin. She's like, you should have been one. And then here I am as a therapist now. And I love it.
I kind of love that
everything.
though, because a nurse, you take care of people.
Correct.
As a therapist, you also take care of people.
Correct.
And their emotions and their hearts and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Their minds.
For sure.
So then where did the changes happen? So a little bit of like, what did you like really excel in when you went to school and like, what did you go to college for and how'd you end up here?
Yeah, I actually, so in school, I was always like ELA and things. I was always better at like language-based things.
Okay.
And math was always like not my strong suit. I was a good student, but I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD until I was 27 years old. So
Okay.
I remember saying to my mom, why is everything so much harder for me than it seems like it is for everyone else? Okay. Because like I got good grades. I got like 90s and stuff, but you're also growing up in an Italian-American family. So like, why didn't you get 100? Like,
Yes,
why?
exactly.
Like, well, everybody else got like a 99. Like, I don't care what everybody else got. Like, but then, so you just keep pushing and doing. But yeah, and then, after I went through high school and everything, I went through college. I got my bachelor's degree in philosophy and with a minor in psychology and applied ethics.
Okay.
And I was always interested in ethics. Like that was something that was very intriguing to me.
Okay.
My mom went back to school and she got her master's in public health when we were younger. And I remember her doing some of her ethics courses and like I would sit down and do her homework with her. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I started kind of, getting interested in that route. But college is funny, right? Like you're still not even fully grown yet.
Oh my
Your
God,
brain's not done
yes.
developing till you're 26. So
Yeah.
it's like, who really knows what they actually want to do with the rest of their life? But after college, I took a year off to just figure out what the hell I was going to do with my life. I was like working at a doctor's office, just doing reception and stuff. And I always knew like I wanted to do something with people, like helping people. I was always fascinated by psychology. I did a lot in undergrad with my mentor at the time with special needs children and everything. So a friend of mine, her sister, said she had just started a mental health counseling program. And I was like, what's that? Like, tell me more. And she started describing it to me. And I was like, that sounds really interesting. Like, and I looked into it. And here we are a million years later, you know,
oh my goodness,
loving every second of it.
All right. Yeah. So I guess, how'd you meet your husband in between there? Because I was getting to motherhood, but we can't skip the reason why you're a mother as well, right?
That guy. Yeah, he's kind of an important part of the equation.
So how did you meet your husband? And
we met at the gym.
Okay.
So we both had recently gone through breakups, and the girl who worked at the front desk, you know, she was friendly with both of us, and she was hearing his story all the time and then hearing my story. And she was like, let me set the two of them up.
Right.
So she kept saying like, oh, I know someone that's like, I think it would be good for you. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I don't really want to date right now. Like, I'm not interested. I was really like, just want to focus on me. So she kept kind of after it. And then after like a couple months, she's like, I think I have somebody that would be good for you. And I was like, all right, fine. Who is it? And she's like, you know, he actually goes here. I was like, oh my God, you could have told me. Like, I would have like, you know, made sure I don't look homeless because I usually do when I'm working out. So I was like, well, you can give him my number. It's fine. I was like, but tell him to text me. I don't do the phone.
Oh yeah, I hate phone calls.
Because I don't do the phone. That night I get a text message. Hey, what's up? It's Eric from the gym.
Okay.
And I haven't been able to get rid of him since.
How long ago was this?
What year are we in, 2025? This was 12 years ago.
Okay.
12 years ago.
And is he Italian too?
He's not. He's Jewish. but
Okay.
It's so funny.
They're very similar.
Same corporation, different division.
Exactly.
My Sicilian grandmother always said, marry a Jew. They make the best husbands. 5 girls. We have 10 cousins, 5 girls, 5 boys. I'm the only girl that listened. And I have, like, I mean, my cousins' husbands are great too, but like, my husband's awesome.
Oh my God. You know what? I used to work at a weight loss camp, and the owners were Jewish, and it was so funny because he loved everything Italian. He loved the cooking, the food, and just very similar in very many ways with just like how they do things, especially with like family ties and stuff.
Yep.
It's very interesting to me.
Yeah, his family is not actually like the traditional like Jewish that you'd expect. We like kind of joke that like our family, like my husband's family was they're very different than mine. Like they didn't have a lot of family around here, so it was really just him and his sister growing up.
Okay.
And we kind of joke that like our family changed his family like in a good way with all of our love. Like, all of a sudden, like it, you know, his sister is my best friend too. Like she lives 2 blocks from me. She's the most calming force in my life. I love her so much. His mom like comes over and sees the kids a lot now, which, you know, my husband's a workaholic and stuff, so he's always go, go, go. But the Italians, kind of, my mom was super lovey, and, you know, it made everybody more family oriented.
Right.
And now, you know, his family's at every single holiday, every event, like we do everything all together.
It just makes life so much easier.
So much easier.
And then you have 2 kids, obviously.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Philip is going to be 6 next month, September, because in my head we're already in August. And Caroline is 2. Oh, my God. And she is 2.
See, it's interesting, too. The second kid is always a whammy.
Yep.
That's what I hear. We only have 1 so far.
Yeah.
But everybody we know, they're like, oh, you think you got your shit together as a parent, and then you have another one?
Yep. And it really is true. When she was first born, I was like, no, she's like my little girl. No, she don't give a shit.
Yeah.
She does not give a shit. She is sassy and spicy, and like we call her like a little bitch because she's totally one. Like she's.
But it's kind of great, like when you think about sending her to school, though, like, and especially as having a girl, like girls are just, I think, more susceptible to like the emotions, the feelings. I mean, not that boys are not, obviously,
right?
But like you just worry differently about a girl than you do with a boy.
I actually worry about my son more than I worry about her.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I'm saying is that normally it's the other way around.
Yep.
So
it kind of makes me feel good. I know, like as a parent, it's very rough to raise her that like is so strong-willed, but I want that for her as an adult.
I find that with our daughter as well, is like she has like an answer for everything, and like like I'll tell her not to do something and she'll be like And
How
she'll
old
like
is she?
she's 5. She's 5.5, but she'll like do something and she'll just like 10 seconds later she'll be like, I didn't do that at you, Mom. I was not being rude with that face. I didn't do that at you. I was a little aggravated. And she's got such a vocabulary on her.
Yeah.
And then like I could get mad in the moment that like, all right, can you just like listen to what I'm saying? But then you think about it, like she's going to be able to like talk through things and like not like come home from school and not know how to like articulate what happened and how she feels. So like you take the good with the bad with that. Like when they're very like vocal and very verbal, like it's tough sometimes because you just want to be like, could you just listen to what I'm telling you to do?
You just stop talking for 5 seconds.
We need a response to everything. And like, it's funny because when I listen to my episodes back, I talk about her a lot. She goes, Mom, are you talking about me in your podcast again? Like she's so funny. But like
the mannerisms, right?
Yes. And like,
sure,
where do you get this from? And everybody's like, really, you don't know where
You never become more aware of your own stuff until you see it in your tiny humans.
1,000.
It's the most wild thing. I'm like, oh my God, I guess I do that a lot.
All your goods and all your bads.
Every
right?
last one.
And it's like you
one.
see the goods and you're like, shit, yeah, like I am a great parent. And then you see the bads and you're like, oh my God, I'm a terrible human being.
Yep.
It's both.
You're like, wow, they're all me.
Yes, all up and down the mountain for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody asked in a previous episode, how are we balancing working life and motherhood? And in part 2, so I break up all my episodes into 2 parts. So this is more for people, obviously I need to get to know you, but other people don't know you either. More about like your family background and all that. And we'll get to specifically what you do as a therapist. But since we're talking about motherhood, how are we balancing that, Dana?
I don't think it's ever a 50-50 balance. It's not. There's times that it's not balanced. I mean, I think to be like a real authentic mom is you're admitting that like there are just the hard years that you're in and things feel unbalanced. But the ways that help temper things is support. I have so much like awe of people who don't have like family close by or support systems. I don't know how they do it because I'm so grateful for mine. You know, my sister-in-law lives 2 blocks away. My sister is 6 minutes right across Central Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
My mom comes down every weekend. She lives in Yorktown. So we have a lot of help. And that means a lot. That's really how we balance. And, you know, the nice thing with self-employment with my husband and myself, we're both self-employed, is you're never off when you're self-employed, but you do have more flexibility.
Oh, yeah.
And that helps. That I can't imagine actually like having to like deal with managing, you know, time off and like having to ask a boss for all that. Like, no.
Oh, yeah. Can you come record a podcast on a Tuesday?
Right.
You know, whatever.
Right.
It's impossible.
Exactly. So that definitely helps. With
I
the
very
balance,
much,
too.
and I feel bad always because I talk about my family and it's got to be the Italian American thing because so many of us, it's the same thing. A lot of people are like, do you have a babysitter? I'm like, no.
Just have a lot of family.
Right. And like, you know, I hired at one point when I was doing a different job, somebody that I didn't know. And then all it took was me watching on the Ring camera, them like scrolling their phone while my daughter was like playing on the deck.
Right.
And I'm like, you're there
Right.
because I could be home working and scrolling through my phone while she's playing by herself. Like, this is not helping me at all.
Right. I want you to interact with her.
Right. That's what you're getting paid to do. Whereas if your family's there, they're helping you and like, yeah, they're playing. And then maybe my mom is like doing her stuff too. They see each other all the time. So like, you know, it's a very different thing, but you trust your family.
Yeah.
And not everybody can. So it's almost like sometimes I feel like I take for granted and you probably feel the same way. Like we don't even second guess it.
Right.
Because your family is just like, it's it. Like they're it.
That's where like when, you know, families have like their positives and their negatives and stuff and we all get triggered by family members, it helps to be like to practice gratitude of, I constantly remind myself of, wow, like even when my mom annoys the crap out of me, which no one knows how to push your buttons better than your own mom, how lucky I am, how grateful I am to have her because you know, she chooses to show up. She chooses to show up for my children. She chooses to, like, she comes out to my house. She'll do my laundry. Even when I'm, like, annoying and I'm like, Mom, stop doing my laundry. Like, she's trying to help me.
So funny. There's so many people who cannot relate to this. And I don't say it in, like, a, you know, you puff your chest out way. But, like, it is, and my mother-in-law, too. They'll be there. What can we help you with?
Right.
And I'm like, no, I don't really want you to do my laundry. But my mom's like, Mary, I'm here anyway. Just
They almost, like, can't sit still.
Yes. Like, just give me something to do. And then, like, I'll leave like we order everything online, and then I like to return in store so I don't have to pay the fee or whatever. So like
Right.
I'll have it on my like a little table that I have in my hallway, and she'll be like, "Are these returns? You want me to bring these back for you?" I'm like, "Mom."
Like, yes, please, thank you.
And she
yeah,
does.
yeah. I'm the worst.
It's
I
like,
don't
here's
return
the Macy's
anything.
credit card, here's the this. And it's like, I feel exactly the same way. Like, not everybody has it. And a lot of people are very complimentary, and they're like, how are you doing? Like, how'd you write books? How'd you do this? And how are you managing all these things? Because of that support system.
Absolutely.
From my mom, my mother-in-law, my husband. He doesn't work on Fridays. So very similar to what you're saying too. How did you build, right, or get involved two businesses, right, and doing all of this stuff? It's because of your support system.
Absolutely, absolutely. My husband is amazing. He he's a planner, so as long as I communicate to him, which sometimes like I'm like, oh, I thought I told you that, but I just said it in my head, which is a me thing.
Yes,
but
it's a
he's
woman
like,
thing a lot of times.
100%. But as long as he's like, Dana, as long as you tell me, I can move things around and make it work, and he does. And that's really, he's very supportive. He always has my back, which is a really good feeling.
All right, and then you guys have been married for how long?
We got married in 2017, so what is that, 8 years?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I'm bad at math, but yeah, I think it's 8 years.
All right. And then, like I mentioned, obviously, so I wrote romance books, and a lot of people respond, and they're like, this doesn't happen in real life. This is just like, in the movies. And like, obviously, when you're living day to day, my husband and I will be married 15 years in November.
That's amazing.
And we've gone through our ups and downs that I talk about all the time, and, came out the other side, thankfully. It's still difficult.
Yeah.
Just managing, like, how do we keep romance alive? And like, so our daughter is like, we call it a grandma vacation right now. And like I said to you when we were outside, it's like 4 days of like, you forget who you are.
Yes.
Without having your child with you all the time. And I always feel very uncomfortable because there's so many people who struggle to have children.
Yeah.
I never want it to sound like I'm not grateful that I have a kid.
Right.
But also you just sometimes need a break.
It can be both. You could be grateful and you're a human being and need a break.
Yes. So how do you guys manage that with your work, self-employment, 2 children, and making time for each other?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. And if my husband were sitting here, he would be the first to say that he wished we did more. So it's a balance of being realistic and being intentional. So like we try to do date nights. It used to be every week. It's not now. Now we're like twice a month if we're lucky. We did just talk about yesterday about maybe sending the kids to my mom's for a weekend so we could have a little alone time. But you have to be intentional about it.
Right.
And you have to prioritize it and then also be realistic. Because my husband and I were always like a balance of like, I'm like a little more like he thinks like we should have all this time, and I'm like maybe like none of it's possible. So there's the balance in between. So,
well, do you feel like you have so much on your plate? And like, I think also women, we carry a lot of the browser tabs with a lot of different things. And I'm very big on like, unless you're married to a complete loser who does nothing, like they have their own browser tabs.
Absolutely.
I say that all the time. So like,
for sure.
I'm not thinking about the security of the house and like keeping the garage intact. Like whenever you need some random thing from the garage, I don't know where it is. Jay knows where it is.
Right.
Not one camera, 6 Ring cameras. All those Ring cameras, the batteries die at different areas. Water softeners, dehumidifiers.
Those are all the things I do. That's funny.
Right. It's okay. And typically it's not, right?
I know, but I'm my mother's daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, so the browser, what Eric, you said his name is?
Yep.
Like, what are his browsers? Everybody's got their own
He
browser.
does so many different things, right? Like, first of all, he has like multiple businesses too. So he's like financially is all of that stuff, like having all of our different portfolios and things set up. Like when there is work to be done in the house, he's a real estate developer. So like that's all him.
Okay.
And he's very involved with the kids. He said to me like on Saturday, he was like, oh, I think Philip had that summer project. We read the book up already, but we have to do a report. And I looked at him, I was like, he had a summer project? I had no freaking idea.
Okay.
Like, so he's like, we really take turns, like, depending on who has a fuller plate that week.
Yeah. And it's not the same all the time.
It's not.
Jay and I say that all the time. It's not always, and you started off saying it's not always 50-50.
Yep.
Some days you're 90 and the other person's 10 or whatever it is.
Yep.
And on varying levels, who's focused on work, who's focused on the house, who's focused on the kids. Like it varies.
Yeah.
And I really think the quote secret to marriage is learning how to navigate when those percentages are up, down, and wherever.
Right.
And whenever anything feels off, like, hey, their energy is whatever. Instead of like negative, like, oh, well, I guess I'll go do this myself. I really actually pride myself in 15 years almost of marriage. I don't think one time out of my mouth it's ever come out like, well, I've changed a diaper this many times, so it's your turn now.
That's huge that you could do that, because that's not usually the majority.
Right. Most people keep tabs.
Right.
And
people keep score.
Yeah. And Jay and I don't do that, which I'm very proud of all
That's
the time.
huge.
And I sort of say this all the time, like we sort of sashay around each other, like even hosting. So he's a big cook. I love putting the menu in a frame, and the types of cheese have little stickers coming out of it. Like I'm the
decor.
I'm like the host and the menu planner, and like I'll do the appetite. But he's like the real chef in the house.
Yep.
But like we just work so well together, and I'm mostly proud of that. But like also, once you're married a certain amount of time and you really learn how to communicate with each other,
That's
like
everything.
You're the therapist, right? Like communication. Proper communication
100%
solves everything.
Absolutely. Like learning how to communicate and how to not personalize things. So to me, like one of the biggest secrets of marriage is accepting your partner for who they are and not expecting them to be something they're not. Mm-hmm. When you meet someone where they're at, you see them for who they really are. And that's intimacy. That's attunement. Instead of like, you should be this, you should do that, blah, blah, blah. Like, start like seeing them through the lens of like you're like whatever you want instead of who they really are. And then you can communicate way better, because your communication style is going to change in a way that's like less punitive and finger pointy and blamey, instead of like, oh, I see you. That must have been hard for you based on XYZ. And that could be like validating for your partner. And then when that person feels felt, then they're more able to hear you when you express how you're feeling.
Where they don't feel attacked and they're not on the defense.
Right.
But then also I feel like I try to do this a lot as well, is I always try to turn the finger back on myself. Like, hey, what could I have done differently?
Yeah, extreme ownership.
Yeah.
I'm big on that. I'm very big on that.
Right. So like rather than like you could have done X, Y, Z differently, right? There's different ways that you could say that and communicate it so that they don't get defensive. But also you have your own part in this that you've played. Yep. And like you have to own up to that as well. And I think majority of people don't initially do that.
Correct. I always say it takes two people to make a marriage work.
Right.
Right? Because even like in situations where, I'm not trying to like put anyone's relationship or anything down, but even in situations where there is maybe a partner who's doing really like not so nice things, look at the other one and say, well, why are you putting up with it? Like what pattern are you repeating? Like, and self-reflecting, that to me is so important. Yeah. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Right.
So we tend to repeat patterns until someone wakes up and says, okay, I need to do things differently if I want things in my life to be different.
Right. You do the same shit over and over and nothing's going to change. Expecting it to change is
right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm big on self-awareness too. Like just, and Jay and I, like we said, we both did personal therapy. I haven't said this to you. When I record two things in one day, I like mix what I was talking to Sean about.
Your brain blends things.
But we did, it was 3 years ago. We did our therapies for our marriage, personal and then together. Yeah. And he's, old school Italian. Like it was not the easiest thing to really get him on board with that. Right. And we did it, and just even now, this is 3 years later, how we speak to each other and even check in with each other is just completely different. Yeah. Like if I noticed, if this was years prior to therapy and his mood took a dip, I'd sit there and be like, here we go. What is this for now? Right. I had like a lot of built up resentment that I think when I felt something from him, I asked them many years over and over, hey, what's wrong? What do you want to talk about? And he was not a big talker. Right. And then something happens, and there's three sides to every story. I know for Jay, he was always like, I don't want to talk to you about stuff because you either throw stuff back in my face or you get defensive over it.
He was scared.
Yeah. So he said that after a certain amount of time, he just stopped wanting to talk to me, right? My version of that is like I asked you over and over and over again, and my frustrations would come out when I felt like I had to ask you 7 times to get the answer that could have just been given to me the first pass. Right. So it's just exhausting at that point. Right. So we've learned now, like, even the way that I just bring it up, if I notice there's a dip, I'll sort of do it. It's not like, oh, babe, what's wrong now? Yeah. It's, I feel like a little bit different, like energy.
The energy shifted.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what happened? Like what happened? Did I do something? Is it something work related? Like just talk to me about what's happening so
Right.
that we know.
Right.
Right. And I feel like that's a big thing that therapy taught us what to do.
Absolutely. It's just like, even I saw my husband catch himself the other day, and he, because I tend to be like, when I'm anxious, I'm more aggressive. I'm not really like flighty. I'm just like, "Rah," like, so I tend to be like that way when I'm just stressed. And it's hard for him. It's probably hard for anybody. I'm not like attacking on him, but just in general. But I saw him catch himself where he was like, he went to go into like fix it mode or something, he said, but I saw him go, "What's going on? Are you okay?" And I like stopped and was like, "Thank you for asking. No, I'm not. I'm really stressed out and whatever." And then he just listened.
Right.
And that, because, we tend to always go into fix it mode of like, "Why don't you try this?" But I'm never asking for that. Sometimes I just need like a safe place to vent. And like just seeing how he like caught himself and we've gone through couples therapy. We're back in couples therapy now because we have 2 small kids and life is hard.
Right.
And that helps with communicating in a safe place and learning how to communicate through conflict, because conflict in any relationship is normal and healthy because it's communication trying to happen. But sometimes we need a little help with alterations to our communication styles.
Yeah, and that was a big thing that I was really shitty at is just always wanting to find an answer or
We're
a
Italian. We're like
solution.
detectives and we yell. That's what we do.
Yeah, like so if he was experiencing something, I'd be like, all right, so let's do da 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 da, and he's like, babe, don't you think I already thought about this? And like sometimes he did and sometimes he didn't.
Right.
But even in that moment, he just wants to feel like he's got a safe space to tell me how he's feeling without me going, well, oh, you'd be able to solve it. Da, da, da. Like I know the answers to everything.
Right.
It's just 2 very different methods.
Absolutely.
And neither one is necessarily right or wrong, but it's like understanding what the other person is really asking of you at that
The
moment.
intention, yeah.
Yeah.
And my husband and I will ask each other, "Do you want feedback or do you want me to just listen?"
Right.
And we try to do that as much as possible so we know what's expected of us on the receiving end. Like, we kind of make sure that we're meeting the need.
Right. Because then if you think they're just venting and then they're like, excuse me, are you listening? Do you have
Right.
anything to say? I'm like, oh, sorry. I thought you were just,
Right,
I thought you were just
venting.
session.
Yeah.
And my
Yep.
sister is very much like that too. And she knows me well enough because I immediately go into, all right, I don't know if it's like my personality or just whatever, but like I go into this wanting to help people.
Yeah.
And she knows me longer even than my husband. Obviously, she's 42 or whatever she is.
Yeah.
And she's like, Mare, I'm going to vent to you right now. And I'm just venting.
Yep.
So I said, okay, I will keep my mouth shut.
Yep. Exactly.
But knowing what you're getting into, it totally
Exactly.
helps.
You know
and
how
then
to be.
I think too, as our kids get older, that's going to be a big, huge thing too.
Yes.
Because if every time you're a kid, when they're, 10, 13, 16, and they come to, if she's coming to me and she's telling me what's happening at school, and I immediately go into, well, maybe you shouldn't do da 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 da, or well, did you tell your teacher, or did you do this, did you do that? She can be like, Mom, like, can you
That's the one thing you don't want to do with kids.
because then they won't tell you anything.
And they also won't learn how to tolerate their emotions. That's a big thing I do with my son right now. It's just, okay, so you're disappointed. We don't need to fix anything. It's okay to be disappointed. That teaches emotional tolerance.
Okay.
That situations don't need, it's not all about like what could have been done better. Sometimes it is. There's nuance to everything, right? But a lot of times, like if, let's say, like a kid was mean to him or something, like you could be angry, you could be hurt, and mom will give you a hug and sit with you in that big feeling, but we don't have to do anything to fix it.
Right.
Because we can't control everything around us.
And it's even stuff that happens in the house. Like I could tell her to go do something and she'll be pissed off that she's got to go clean.
Yeah.
And I've said that to her. I said, it is totally okay to be unhappy
Yeah.
that I asked
You don't have
to
to
do
like
this.
it.
You don't have
And
to.
you still have to do it.
Right, exactly.
Get to work. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've said, if you want to take like a minute or something before you go, feel whatever you're feeling right now. I'm here to talk to you about it, but like it still needs to get done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like we say to my trainer, Lou, I talk about him all the time, but he always says happiness is optional. And so when I use it all the time with my son, he's like, well, Mom, I'm not going to be happy. I'm like, okay, that's okay. Happiness is optional. You can feel however you want about it. Mm-hmm. You control your emotions.
Yeah.
If there's something that needs to get done, then that needs to get done. But doing that in the early ages really teaches children that their emotions don't have to dictate their behavior. And that's where many adults get stuck.
Right. Because
Feel like it, right?
right.
Right. It's the difference between discipline and motivation.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is great. Oh my God. I would love to meet you. Your kids are probably like so like.
They're insane. They're absolutely unhinged, just like their mother. They're crazy.
Self-awareness,
but they're super loving and they're regulated, right?
Yeah.
And they're learning regulate. That's to me the most important thing as a parent is because we can't control what happens to our kids all the time. We can't control all of these things outside of them. We can control being there for them. And we can teach them how to control their own emotions, not avoid them. Avoidance breeds anxiety and depression, but teaching them that they can have a feeling and it's not going to kill them, that they could be angry and that's okay, especially for boys. So many boys are taught like it's not safe to be angry or channel that into sports or do this or do that. Instead of like, yeah, you're angry. Good. You want to punch a pillow? Like, something like that's okay. Don't hit your sister. But you're allowed to be mad.
That's exactly all the stuff that we talked about with Ace, so Dave Regina and Sean Degnan.
Yep.
It's the thing that they needed years prior, but that they started themselves for men for that exact reason that you just said.
Yeah.
Like instead of holding it all in and waiting till you explode, you need the safe place to do that. Right. And Sean was actually on before saying, because he's gone through a lot of stuff in his life, as everybody has.
Sure.
And I had asked him, I said, have you done therapy for like his anxiety, his depression from years past? Yeah. And he said he tried it.
Yep.
And he's like, it was not for me. And like, I think some of that could also be if you just get a shitty therapist, of course.
There's a lot of really unqualified people out there.
Same thing. You can get a shitty teacher.
Yep.
Anybody.
Yep.
Not everybody is.
I would say therapist is like finding the right therapist is like a relationship, right? Like you don't tend to marry the first person that you date.
Yeah.
But you should like interview a couple different people and then see who you feel the strongest connection with.
Right.
And at any point you can say like, this isn't working for me. Or even if you do great work with a therapist and then you might hit a ceiling of that's the most work that we're going to get done. And maybe find another one who can do another layer.
Different level. Or
that's all okay. It's
well,
all
and he
okay.
said that, through Ace and like the guys in it, a lot of them have their own therapists. And Dave says this all the time. Like he's done therapy like for like years and years.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who do therapy, they almost become therapists, like mini therapists. In their own
for
right.
sure.
And they just
learn skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you help people. And that's my best friend. She's an executive coach. So a lot of times she was, quote, my therapist.
Yeah.
So all of that sort of just ties into if you feel like you need it, but like you don't really love the thought of it, or you've been and you didn't really love who you had, there are so many other people that you could go try to.
Absolutely. But therapy is also not for everyone. Like I'm also of the mentality that if we all learned how to relate to each other better, then we wouldn't need therapists.
Right.
And that's not such a bad thing.
Right.
Right. If we learned how to be like accepting of each other, learn to attune to each other more, support each other more, because we don't get traumatized from what happens to us, but it was who was there for us or who wasn't. Like if we had to deal with stuff alone, that's usually when things have a lasting effect on us.
Yeah, and I want to get into that and like the specific therapy that you do. I'll do that in part 2. But another question that I had while we're on sort of the marriage and motherhood piece is what is different? So life actually, we all had a vision of what our life would be, and then life actually happened. That's where I got the idea for this. What is different in marriage and motherhood than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, I thought about that question when I saw it, like when you emailed it to me. And I don't like have like a clear-cut answer. I think what's different, I think for me is it's harder than I thought it would be.
Everybody says the same thing.
My mom, God bless her, like both my mom and my dad, like they seem to handle things pretty well. I mean, I wish sometimes they modeled how hard it was because then it would have normalized maybe some of the things I'm going through.
I say that all the time. I said, did everybody that I know, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, did you just like, nobody knew how hard it was growing up.
Right. You kind of just put your head down and push through.
Yeah.
And they all survived. And so it looked like from, the younger perspective, like, oh, they got it, they can handle it. But maybe it would have been helpful hearing like, yeah, I can handle it. And it's also really hard.
Yeah.
Which
I always say too, though, because I've talked about this, I think, on different episodes too. There is a fine line because then if they're sitting there as you're getting ready to get married, and they're like, listen, this is really hard. You'd be like, hey, I don't want that negativity around me.
Right.
So it's kind of they're in between a rock and a hard place. Like,
is it negative or is it realistic?
Yeah.
Because life is hard. You choose your hard. I very much believe that.
Yeah.
If you go through life without any stressor, you are going to be the least resilient person known to mankind. So if the smallest thing happens to you, you're going to fall apart.
I do agree with that.
So you choose your hard. Relationships are tricky. We're always trying to figure out how to relate better to one another.
Right.
So it's challenging.
I say that all the time too. Another thing is like I could live with my best friend.
Yep.
And if you lived with somebody day after day after day, you'd still want to like at some point be like, what the fuck? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So like then you do that and you just sign on to be a partner with somebody for life and then add two, three, however many other humans there, plus work. It is next level.
Absolutely. That's, to me, I think the most important thing. Like one of my best friends, Josephine, she had said to me, even before I met my husband, the person you marry is the single most important decision of your entire life. And it always stuck with me. She has all these good one-liners that always stuck with me. And she's right, because for me, like when you think about who you want to like spend your life with, either in a marriage or a business partnership or whatever it is, it needs to be someone who you know you can have conflict with and work through it, because conflict will come up. So it's not like, oh, I just want to be happy, I want to be in love. It's, no, I want to know that I can have conflict with this person and we can solve it together.
Yeah.
That is, to me, more important than anything else.
Right. Because you're never going to avoid conflict.
It's just not going to happen.
And it's
Things
even
come up.
having a small child too, like, you know, you get those things like, oh, well, homeschool will do this. Like, no, like anything is, it can be unsafe.
Right.
You don't have any guarantees anywhere. I could go to the mall and not be guaranteed safety there, right?
Right.
So you don't want to like
Can't avoid everything.
Can't. And then I just want her to get really great at speaking up for herself. And she's people are gonna say stupid stuff to her. That people say stupid stuff to us as adults. And like, how do you get through that? Like you just develop a tougher skin, but you also learn how to speak up and advocate for yourself.
Yeah, you learn. It's like, you know, DBT therapy calls it interpersonal effectiveness, right? You learn how to relate interpersonally with people. That's emotional intelligence is the single greatest indicator of success, however you want to define success, but it's way more important than IQ. You can know a million things, but if you don't know how to relate to people, how to be not just aware of yourself, but aware of the other, how to regulate your emotions, those social skills, like that is more important than anything else.
And that's like really a great segue. So I feel like we know background of you. I love that we spoke very briefly. I could sit here and probably talk to you for 4 hours.
Same, yeah.
But in part two, we'll just wrap up part one now, getting our basic overview of you. And then I just love how excited you get about like when you could just tell when you start to talk about like the therapy piece and like that, you're just very passionate about it.
I am.
And having gone through, like I said, marriage therapy, personal therapy, my best friend who's an executive coach, like it just all means a lot to me too.
Yeah.
Because it's uncomfortable in the beginning.
Yep.
But
The best kind of discomfort.
yes, the benefits that you get are just tremendous. And then also for people listening, I think a lot of times too, people are just very hesitant and uncertain about it.
Sure.
So I hope now in part two, we'll talk more about that stuff. And anybody that's listening, that's always sort of been like on the fence.
Yeah.
I hope it like really paints the picture for them. So if anybody's watching part one and they're at the end of part one, just let them know where they could find you.
Absolutely. They can find me and my private practice is Peaceful Living Mental Health Counseling in Yonkers, New York. Not Yonkers. I live in Yonkers. It's in Scarsdale. Mom brain, autopilot. And so that's peacefullivingmentalhealthcounseling.com, or you can find me personally on Instagram at @the_EMDR_coach, or my website, which is danacarretta.com. But I have a team of amazing therapists who are all super skilled, super compassionate individuals. And yeah, we help all ages.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Part one with Mary Belle, Dana Carretta-Stein. Catch us next week for part two.
Yay.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, follow the full journey on social media at the handle mary.belle.books. And if you have need for audio-visual content creation and recording services, Cayi Visions is located in Stamford, Connecticut, and can also be found on Instagram at CAYI Visions.